Hello. You can find this shirt on my post if you want to see what it says. Uh, it's a good shirt. I made it. Mm. You know, I want to speak about love. Probably not in the way you think I do, but I'm reminded of Selena. And her life was ended by the president of her fan club. And there's been other actors and artists that have lost their lives from the president of their fan club. So if you have a fan club, take a second look at your president. You know, I always say that if you're in a room and you want to find the narcissist in the room, just look who's leading the meeting, leading the reason you're there, leading the room, who's in charge of the room, and there's your narcissist. Uh, you know, it's not always the case. Not always the narcissist. A covert narcissist won't be leading the room, but your other narcissists will. Uh, Covert narcissist will be directing the room from behind the scenes. And I don't know. I think more or less the one that I don't know the woman's name that uh, hurt Selena. I believe she could have been a covert narcissist. Uh, but the reason I bring that up is because narcissists can't love. But, it's like a psychopath can't know what your feelings are. They only know their own. There's no empathy. You know. So a narcissist is the same thing, and they feel jealousy, they feel rage, and that's what Selena's killer did. Uh, she felt rage because she wanted what Selena had. She wanted her fame. She wanted the love that Selena had from her fans. Hence, she was the president of the fan club. And uh, the respect of her family that she had. She wanted all of it. And she would have said, "I love Selena," even after she ended her life. She probably said, "I love Selena," but she didn't. She didn't. She loved the idea of Selena for herself. Uh, she didn't want Selena to have it. Selena was a mirror, a reflection of what she wanted in herself and couldn't get. There's no way this woman would ever be a Selena, or in any way or any planet would she ever be a Selena. Um, when she came to that realization, we no longer had Selena. So, and Selena's biggest mistake was being nice to this woman and elevating her to the president of the fan club. Selena thought she was being a nice person and rewarding somebody that supposedly loved her so well, so much. And it was the worst thing she ever did. So it wasn't love. It wasn't love in any way, and I think that's why people are not trusting of love, because it was cloaked in that. It was cloaked. It had a cloak around it, and the cloak said love, and it wasn't love. It was just a cloak, which cloak means fake, and it was fake love. It's just like Trump says he loves America. Trump can't give a damn about America. Only thing Trump cares about is the lining of his pocket and the lining of his ego. And again, he's a narcissist, so he's incapable of love. So, and it shows. But To truly love someone is to let them be a Selena and try to root for them and do what you can to help them within a degree, because I believe the worst thing you can do for a person is help them. Let them find their own way, let them make their own mistakes, let them come to the realization what they're doing is wrong or right, whichever the case may be. Realize they're not as smart as they thought they are, things like that. And in this country, we celebrate genius, we celebrate bravery, uh, we celebrate respect, and we attack every one of those things the minute we see it. So it's the yin and the yang of life, you know. You love intelligence until you find out it's not you. You know, you want to be the intelligent one in the room. You don't want anybody else to be intelligent. You know, you love good looks until you find out it's not you. You want to be the good-looking one in the room and nobody else. And the minute you find the good-looking person or the smart person, you attack them. You try to bring them down to your size. You know, and so you can feel bigger. If they're below you, you're above them, and you're bigger. Which is all it's a crock of shit, but this is what sick, toxic people do. You know. But when you love someone and you want to make them better, you want to help them become the best person they can be. Which might entail not helping them. 'Cause if you love your children, you don't want to help them. I mean, you want to give them the tools, but you don't want to build the house. You want to let them build their own house, paint their own painting, give them the tools to paint uh, at first. But then after a while, you have to cut that off as well and make them go and get their own tools, make the money to buy those tools, to buy the paints, to buy the canvas, and put together their own form of work, you know? Uh, this is my tool, my iPad. I have a couple of them, but I pay for the service. I have cellular on my iPad. I pay for it. Uh, I did it because I wanted to do it, and I felt a calling to do it from God. Uh, Today is 4th of July, 2026, and it's the 250th anniversary of the country, and hopefully there'll be 250 more, but hopefully not. I really don't hope we have another 250. I hope it becomes a point where we don't need countries, we don't need flags, and we become people. We become humans, not defined by what part of the world we occupy. And I realize that's hard, and it's an ideal. It's an idea that, and most ideals and ideas are hard. I'm saying it's easy, but that is a good thing to go towards. Because the longer we have flags and we have countries, the shorter we're going to exist on this planet. Because we fight each other because of the flag, because of the country, like we're doing with Iran, like we do with Russia and China, and we need to come together and be one, which we are, one with God, and drop all this poppycock crap, American and Russian, and Jewish and Israeli or whatever. It's all crap. and we put labels on those people. You know, if you're Iranian, you're evil. If you're Russian, you're evil. You know, things like that. And we're supposedly good because we're American. We're the most evil people on the planet. You know, because we're the biggest arm dealers of the planet. We make all the arms and we sell them to people to make them fight so they can buy more arms. You know, a missile on a shelf isn't worth anything. They want you to blow it up, you know. And, you know, I know I started with love, and but you know, with love, there's hate, and that's the cloak. Is the cloak is hiding the hate with love, you know, and you know, we need hate. We need hate. Yes, we do. Um, but we need love too. And you, it's balance. It's just balance, you know, coming into balance. And it's always going like this, out of balance. But we're trying to come to this. And you know, it's like the cells in your body, you know. When one cell has a lot of salt and one cell has a lot of water, they try to, the cell with the water wants the salt, and the cell with the salt wants the water. And that's us, osteostasis, homeostasis, uh, where the water transfers and the salt transfers through the membranes of the cell. And the one with the water becomes too salty, and the one with the salt becomes too watery, and the process reverses. You know, and that's why you need hate, because hate is the salt and love is the water, and it's just a matter of going back and forth the membranes of the cells. And if you didn't have that, you wouldn't have life. You know, so it's necessary. You know, it's like you know, and over time, you know, things change in the way we look at things. You know, like I'm sure there was a time when we thought salt was bad and water was good, and I just said that when I said water was love and salt was hate. Actually, salt is love and water is hate. You know, depending on your perspective. Uh, you know, so just remember, if you love someone too much, it's not a good thing. If you hate someone too much, it's not a good thing. So the too much part that's the problem. Not the love, not the hate. It's the too much. You know. And it's okay to love, it's okay to hate, but it's not okay to do it too much. You know. And yeah, that's how a lot of cults work, and you know, they hate something and they all come together to fight against it. And they become the thing they're fighting against. And that's what happens when you hate too much. And when you love too much, you bring on the haters. And they want to bring you down because they don't like love. They like hate because hate is easy. It's easy to hate someone. It's hard to love them. You know, and love means you could get hurt. Hate means if you get hurt, it's their fault. You know, so enjoy 4th of July. I know you'll probably be watching this after the 4th of July, but remember the ideals that created this great country still exist. And for some, it was just a sales pitch, and for others, it's a reality. Love, freedom, liberty, and I hope it's a reality for you.